On December 15th, I had a small stroke. I had undiagnosed diabetes, which put strain on my body, which led to undiagnosed hypertension. And boom, hey, your brain tried to revolt on you because you've been eating and living like you were still 18, and you're not. Over the last 8 months, actually, I have lost 100 pounds. Partially, this channel is going to be for people who are in a condition like me who need to get in better shape, who don't want to go to a gym, and who are looking for an easy way to start something like hiking. For me, success is going to be getting out here and doing that and sharing it with you just to hold myself accountable. And so even if my 4 kids are the only people that watch this, at least I have an audience and I don't want to disappoint them. So let's get out there and let's do this and let's get it on camera. All right, Piper Trail, let's do this. All right, here we are. We are on Piper Trail, and this is in Montevallo, Alabama, and it is a converted minecart rail line that has been turned into a trail. Full name, I believe, is Piper Interpretive Trail. Here we go. Right, here we are. We're on a bit of a switchback, getting down to the regular elevation of the trail. And once we get to the bottom here, it's actually a very flat trail. There is very little elevation gain once we get down to the bottom here, out and back to the overlook of the Cabo River where we're going. Here we go. Glad you're coming with me. Spiderweb. Alright, I don't see any spiders. We are in the middle of a heat wave and kind of a drought right now. Well, not exactly a drought, more of a heat wave, because it has rained. But it has been in the mid to high 90s every day for the last 3 weeks. It's hot even by Alabama standards. Nice little seated areas here. The thing I like about this is you actually have a tree here, this bench and a tree here. So if you needed to, if the weather got bad, you could actually string up a tarp and just hunker down on that bench if you needed to. Spiderweb struggle is real today. All the days for me to forget my hiking sticks. again. Hopefully you can hear all the birds and stuff around here. I've been hiking enough lately. I'm missing this. But yeah, so here we are. It does look like the trail's a bit overgrown. Again, summertime in Alabama on an overgrown trail. You definitely want to watch out for snakes. And we're going to move slowly, make plenty of noise, because the last thing we want to do is surprise something that could kill us. Now, this really is a lovely trail, despite all the spider webs out first thing in the morning. Yeah, I don't know how often it gets visited. If I'm out on the weekends, a lot of times I'll see a couple of, couples or individual hikers out doing their thing. It'd be fine. Ugh. I might need to get a stick before we go much further. Yeah, got a little pine tree here. I'm gonna duck under that. Yeah, but it really is a very nice trail. Highly recommend you give it a shot if you get a chance. Yeah, during the week, there's not a whole lot going on out here. I'm lucky enough that I live not far away, so I can get out here in the morning before work if I get the opportunity. Sorry, I wasn't meaning to get up in your face. I'm bringing my hands close whenever I notice or am at a point where there's likely to be spider webs, just because nobody wants that on their face. Yeah, but Piper is a nice trail. There is a loop. The backside of the loop is a very steep incline on very large limestone gravel that was actually designed for heavy machinery to move up. So it's not easy on the feet. So typically I go out to one of the two overlooks and then I just do an out and back. I don't do the loop typically. Just because for me, most of the scenery is on this front section. Yeah, most of the good views are here on this section. Once you get to the backside, you go down into sort of a bottom. So, my name is Danny Thompson, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Starting this for a couple of reasons. One, on December 15th, I had a small stroke. Could have been much worse than it was. I was very lucky, but it was an eye-opener. I knew I needed to make some changes because the stroke was entirely my fault. I had undiagnosed diabetes, which put strain on my body, which led to undiagnosed hypertension. And I ended up one day feeling some slight tingling in my fingertips here and my lips here. But that was it. There were no other symptoms, no facial drooping, none of that. And did some research, and it looked like could have been a couple of things, most of them no big deal. But after about 4 days with no relief, I went to the doctor, checked in the hospital, and boom, hey, your brain tried to revolt on you because you've been eating and living like you were still 18 and you're not. Now, the ironic thing here is that I was a pre-med major in college. I was a biology, chemistry double major. I know all about anatomy, about physiology, about pathology, about nutrition. One thing I used to say is, I'm too smart to be this dumb. But didn't change my behavior because of it. And paid the price. Was luckily, my price was minimal. Could have been much worse. But I decided it was time to make changes. And so over the last 7 months, almost 8 months actually, I have lost 100 pounds. I will put up a picture here of my driver's license photo from a couple of years ago, which will show you what I look like at my heaviest. Now, still got a little room to go, but basically I was at 310, 315 when I was in the hospital. I weighed in today, I was at 239. It's been a journey. But one thing that I've always loved since I was a kid was getting out and playing in the woods, right? Played in the woods as often as I could. Wake up on Saturdays, watch cartoons. As soon as cartoons were over, I was out the door and I was out in the woods behind the house. And that led me into a love of nature. That led me to explore primitive living skills from books that I'd read and stuff like this long before the days of YouTube. And then that led me into hiking, camping, backpacking, that sort of thing. And so I backed into this from a very minimalist perspective. And as I got older and got into other interests, fell off a little bit on that. The last couple of years I've gotten back into it, but not seriously. But this recent health scare taught me that I need to get serious about being healthy. Now, I am a creative professional. It's been almost 20 years as a copywriter and a marketing consultant. Currently a marketing manager for a rather large company. And so I've gotten into a very sedentary lifestyle. But also, when it comes to exercise, routine is not something that I gel with easily. Right? I get bored very quickly of doing the same thing over and over. So I love my job. It's something different every day. But I'll get out and hike anytime I get an excuse. So I figured, all right, well, let's get serious about this. And at least once a week, I'm going to take a long hike. I'm going to try to say at least once a month, hopefully twice a month. I'm going to get out and do an overnight somewhere. And then once every quarter, every 2 months, something like that, I am going to get out and do a multi-day excursion somewhere. And so I figured, what better excuse to start a YouTube channel, right? And I've done some research, and everything I see says just start, right? I know most people probably are never going to see this video. That's fine. Most people may never see any of my videos. That's fine too. But the fact that I have a channel is going to give me accountability, especially if I do build an audience. People I can share my journey with, share my lessons from this whole stroke experience, and people I can share my love of outdoors with. And so even if my 4 kids are the only people that watch this, at least I have an audience and I don't want to disappoint them. So let's get out there and let's do this and let's get it on camera. So yeah. All right, so why did I choose this point to come for my first video? Partially because of scenery like this, right? I love Alabama. It's a green state. There are lots of trails out here, lots of places to explore. I've got probably 12 different places I can go within an hour of my house, right at my front door. But views like this are harder to get to. This one just happens to be right down the road. 2, it's actually been a while since I've been out here. It's probably been maybe a year. And so I just want to come out here and do it. And this gave me a great excuse. 3, because partially this channel is going to be for people who are in a condition like me who need to get in better shape, right? Or want to, but primarily people who need to, who don't want to go to a gym, and who are looking for an easy way to start something like hiking. And so that's what this channel will be about, in part. Yes, I will share my trips. I will make trip videos, right? I will have a log of the adventures that I create. Probably put out a bunch of YouTube shorts with clips of those hikes. But I will also be giving tips to people who are just getting started in hiking and backpacking. Like I said, I've been doing it since I was 9 or 10 years old in some form or fashion. Now, I do tend to come from a minimalist backpacking style. I started, as I said, just practicing primitive living skills out in the woods behind my house, right? How to build a shelter, how to make a fire, how to do all that kind of stuff, which is great. It's an awesome set of skills to have. I know if I lost everything, I could still survive. That's awesome. And there was a while there in my teen years where I would go on minimalist, almost survival backpacking trips with as little as I could carry. I've done multi-day trips where all I carried out was a knife in my pocket. And it was a blast. It was fun. It was a great learning experience. I think it built a core of who I am as a person. However, I'm 50 now. My back and my knees don't like building a shelter. They don't like sleeping on the ground. I'm still of the mind, the more you know, the less you carry. But also, I use a hammock and a tarp because sleeping on the ground sucks, to be quite blunt. But my goal is to help people ease into hiking, backpacking, camping, and do it in comfort. So, I will be sharing tips. Like right now, with a backpack and a tarp in the summer in Alabama, it's awesome. Because you don't need an underquilt, you don't need an overquilt, stuff like that. Problem is, in Alabama, it's going to get hot, you're going to sweat. Period. Even in a hammock, got the breeze under you, it helps. Now, a tent is like a sauna in Alabama in the summer. So I still prefer my hammock. But as it gets colder, as you get into spring, like if the temperatures start dropping down into the 60s, with the breeze blowing under the hammock, it's going to get cold. So you do need some sort of underquilt, some sort of top quilt. You can use like a blue foam sleeping pad, put that in your hammock, and then just climb in and get in your sleeping bag. That works. There's probably going to be gaps. There's going to be places where you get cold. But for me, there's a trade-off. Because, like I said, I love being out in nature. I love being in this place. This is my happy spot, right? And I also believe, and I'm not crazy about this, but a little bit of discomfort makes you really appreciate the creature comforts you do have at home, right? If you sleep out in a hammock and a tarp, and you do have a couple of gaps in your insulation, and you end up getting a cold spot on your arm or on your leg, and when you get home and you slide into your bed and you're under your comforter, you're really going to appreciate that a whole lot more. That's one of the great things for me about camping, is you can take whatever you want. Anything you want to be more comfortable, you can take. You just got to carry it on your back. And so you learn about the trade-offs between the carry weight and the comfort you want to experience. But if you're just doing this to get into health and you're just more interested in hiking, that's fine. There's still some things you should carry and be able to use just in case something does go wrong. But we'll get into some of that too, right? What should you carry if you're just going out for a day hike? Like I said, I am 30 minutes from my house. My car is 30 minutes from the house. I'm another 30 minutes into the woods here. So I'm an hour from home. If I were to snap an ankle, I'm not walking back to the car. Even as this trail is, if I've snapped an ankle, it's gonna be difficult for me to get back home. So I have stuff on my back to help me make it if something were to happen and I had to sit here and wait for somebody to come help me. But also, this is, in my mind, the greatest form of exercise. One, when I'm walking through the woods, even if I'm on an incline and I'm gasping and my legs are burning, I'm having fun, right? I don't feel the same way if I'm on an elliptical machine, or if I'm on a stationary bike, or if I'm on a treadmill. It's just not the same. I was similar in high school, right? I played soccer for 12 years. I loved it. My knees are paying for it now, but I loved it. You put a ball in front of me, I'd run all day. You take that ball away, I'm like, run? What are you, nuts? Why would I run? It's just how I'm built. And after 50 years, I know that it's easier for me to go with those strengths than try to fight against them. So if I'm exercising, it's going to be somewhere like this, things like that. So anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough for this first video. That I didn't really have a plan. I just wanted to come out here and do it, because that's what, if you watch people who have made a success of themselves doing the YouTube thing. And for me, success isn't going to be about money or anything like that. I'm good there. It's just going to be, for me, success is going to be getting out here and doing this and sharing it with you, just to hold myself accountable. So one thing I'm going to do is going to get some sort of tripod or selfie stick, because my arm is getting tired, as you can see. But yeah, so yeah, we're going to do this. And experts that I've watched online and even talked to have said the best thing to do is hit record and just get started. Your first 100 videos are going to suck. So those of you who are early on this journey, I'm sorry. We're going to learn as we go here. But yeah, I hope you'll come with me. I hope you'll hold me accountable. If I haven't gotten out in a while, I hope to say, hey, dude, where are your videos? So yeah, thanks for coming along with me. And yeah, can't wait to see where we go from here. Bye. How about you? Have you recently had a stroke or other physical ailment that necessitates you getting out there and getting healthy? Do you like hiking? How long have you been hiking? How'd you get started? Let's talk about it in the comments below. All right, just came back up the switchback at the trailhead, and now we are pretty much done. Here's the end of the trail. There's the car on the side of the sign. And yeah, thanks for coming with me. Look forward to the next one. And yeah, we'll see you guys then.